But if your version of theism entails sort of this really strict literal interpretation of a lot of biblical stories, such as Adam and Eve, that basically life started as special creation. Every organism was in their current form. Humans didn't have any precursors. They didn't evolve from other apes and other organisms, for instance. Then, yeah, there are certain claims that overtly tread on evolution and that are completely incompatible with the belief. So if you're of the latter type of Christian, then yeah, evolution does pose a threat to your worldview if your worldview requires you to believe stories like Adam and Eve and Noah's Ark. But if your version of Christianity isn't so literally focused on those stories and interprets them in ways that I think benefits religion and science both, that it's sort of the meaning behind these stories, the allegory, the symbols that they communicate, then there's really no conflict. I think you can accept these stories for what I think they are and the value that is truly there. And you can also be fully in line with the way modern science views the relationship between humans and the rest of the animal kingdom.
You stated a kind of view of Christianity, which actually I don't hold myself. In other words, the idea that of God as sort of the guy who put things in motion, almost a sort of a deist conception of God. Well, let me give you kind of my own conception and see where the incompatibility of any arises, because it seems to me that when I look at the world of physics, for example, the Big Bang, let's just say the universe had a beginning 5 billion, roughly years ago, I say to myself, look, the Bible isn't a science book. The Bible gives you the idea that in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. So there is some implication of a beginning. The earth wasn't here forever. It wasn't here eternally. There was a beginning. But the Bible makes no attempt to tell you the mechanisms of that. And there's no problem in describing those mechanisms in purely physical terms, while at the same time saying that there's a compatibility with the biblical account of creation. And similarly, with regard to how life forms and all their fantastic multiplicity appeared, and how one life form gives rise to another, the Bible doesn't really get into the details of it. It basically attributes it to God. But it's not just a God who sort of begins the process, but it's a God that is sort of transcendentally, you may say, overseeing the process, that the process is in some mystical way dependent upon the Creator that